In Philadelphia, we had Sal out there yesterday for the Eagles and Browns holding these joint practices. Both sides have interesting stories. Let's start with the Cleveland one. This one is a shame. Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders strained an oblique throwing yesterday morning. He is now considered day-to-day. He won't practice today. He is unlikely to play in Saturday's game. And so I think the most interesting thing that we had going on in this NFL preseason will not be going on into this weekend. Graziano, what more can you tell us?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we've heard is day-to-day, won't practice today, not likely to play this weekend. But obviously, for a guy that spent the entire offseason number 4 on the quarterback depth chart there, this pushes back his opportunity to keep moving up. They saw some positive signs, obviously, in the game that he started by default because, Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett are hurt. But missed practice time at this point for any rookie quarterback, let alone one that's that far down the depth chart, is going to be damaging to his long-term prospects in terms of being able to start.
What do you think, Nate?
Yeah, but I mean, he put some good stuff on tape. It wasn't
Absolutely.
perfect, but that good stuff on tape, I think, will probably keep him in a safe spot on this team. But you're right. Like, anytime you have an opportunity to get better, especially at this age, and losing it is really devastating. And also, to your point, Greeny, it's one of the few things that I care about. Yeah. I was looking forward to watching Shedeur try to top what he had done before.
There are a few things, Marcus, that are interesting to watch in the preseason. I want to see the rookie quarterbacks when they play. The Jackson Dart, he flashed and we got excited. Shedeur Sanders, we got excited. Travis Hunter playing both sides of the ball. Now we don't get that. So that's our piece of this. Marcus, from their piece of this, what does this injury actually mean for Cleveland, for Shedeur, and for whatever winds up happening with their quarterback situation?
Yeah, it's super unfortunate because what he showed in the preseason is that, in my opinion, he earned more reps in practice and an opportunity to play against good on good. And Dominique knows that, Graz knows that being in camp, that is some valuable reps when you get a chance to play against your ones, especially with what Cleveland has. And I think for Shedeur, the most important thing now is to understand how the rehab process goes. Like, stay in tune, keep your mind going, make sure you're there and available to know all of the information that you need to know so you hit the field and you're back getting to it. It's just unfortunate because what it was becoming, what he made it, I believe, in this preseason, was a competition between him, Dylan Gabriel, and Kenny Pickett for that second spot behind Joe Flacco. And I thought if he came out and had another really good performance, there was no way to deny at least a true thought about movement up the depth chart. Now, here's what we got to see in Cleveland. The injury obviously didn't change the depth chart with Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel. It shouldn't change for Shedeur Sanders when he gets back and he's able to get those reps again and unfortunately get an opportunity in the preseason to play and perform once again in one of those games.
Well, and those guys could have moved down. There's really nowhere for him to go down, right? I mean, he fall fifth behind Tyler Huntley. I don't know exactly what other impact that might have.
The point about that Swagger was making about him being in the number 2 or them fighting over this number 2 spot is interesting because it's a unique number 2 spot. Yes. Joe Flacco, he's not the long-term answer there.
He's 40 years old. In case you're wondering, he's 40.
Right. Whoever is in that spot is going to get a chance at some point this season to solidify themselves as the quarterback of the future for the Browns. As much as a long shot as that seems, considering that the Browns have first-round picks in the following draft, it is a chance. And he is going to get that chance. Whoever, whether it's Dylan Gabriel, him, or Kenny Pickett, at some point this season, one or multiple of them, and whoever is in that spot is going to be the first one to get it.
Dan, you've been making the point regularly. I keep talking about how it just doesn't feel like I feel like he is flying against these headwinds for reasons I don't fully understand. And you were making the point that the way we, and let's just use me, the way I view this situation and the way they view it internally do not really have a lot to do with each other.
Right. I mean, he's a 5th-round pick. He's a developmental quarterback in their eyes. That's just by virtue of where he was selected. We saw him throw the ball very well the other night. We also saw some things he needs to work on, right? Like against the rush, there's some stuff he has to iron out. So they want to see what they can do with him, how they can bring him along, what he can become, because they do like him. Other than a couple of speeding tickets, my understanding is he hasn't done anything wrong since he got there. Like, he's handled everything, taken the coaching. He has not, he's not acted like, he's owed anything. And I think they're very, very happy with him. but there's so much noise around the kid, right? Like there's so much conversation around it that we have to kind of peel it back sometimes and say, like, the Cleveland coaches are looking at him the way you would look at a 5th-round quarterback with some promise. Like we have some things we need to work on with him. When he gets to a point where we would feel comfortable starting him in a game, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
But
they're not naive. They know that he's not just some 5th-round quarterback. And I think that probably scared some teams off, but that's a mistake. I think if you think he's good enough at an important position, then you give him a shot. And, like, to understand that this noise, like, I recognize I've been in football culture. I recognize that anything is a distraction. But right now, no, I mean, not that the Browns are complaining about it, but, like, there's not a ton to complain about. Yes, he's going to get more attention. So...
And the reason why I said he shouldn't move down the depth chart, because I thought his performance bunched him up with Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel more than it just being the 4th guy on the roster. We know what we know about Kenny Pickett, and obviously if he makes some dramatic change like Baker Mayfield has done, then Kenny Pickett may become the guy. But ultimately, we haven't seen Dylan Gabriel play an NFL game. So for us to go into this game thinking that Shedeur was still the 4th-string quarterback after that performance was asinine to me. The other thing, too, Graj, and you make a good point about the noise. The noise was going to be the noise if he would have went 3rd overall or if he would have went undrafted because of Deion Sanders. And Shedeur now, and what he's handled so well is, I think, my responsibility is to play quarterback. My responsibility is to play football. And one of the things that I thought was really smart of him, and I know it was strategic, and I know Prime wanted to be there. He told his dad, "Don't come.
Yeah,
I can't focus on you being here and what everybody else is going to talk about while I'm trying to get this job." The kid has been under scrutiny his entire life because Deion Sanders is his dad. He's had to play in very important situations because of Deion Sanders being his dad. Now that he's growing into his own man and understanding what this league is truly about, he's making it about football, and he's done that in so many examples up until this point, and I think it's going to bode well for him.
We live in this time, right, where, like, people perceive the noise as the reality. Right? There's so much show around literally everything. And so inside the building in Cleveland, it's not about blocking out the noise. It's about, like, doing the work as you would if this had been a 5th-round pick that nobody ever heard of. And that, I don't think that's a challenge for the Browns, but the spotlight that's on it puts them in a position where they're constantly having to answer questions about it, and maybe there's some external pressure to move more quickly than they feel like. So it's up to them to be responsible, and so far it seems like they have been.
Yeah, the pressure is going to be there, and it's Shedeur's responsibility to increase that pressure by continuing to practice well and play well. I find it a little bit frustrating, the idea that other teams would move on from someone that they believe to be talented because they're concerned about the noise. But I think that part of the noise being loud is also because the Browns are the Browns.
Yes.
Like, if it was another team that had a longer track record of success and they set Shedeur down, it'd be a different conversation. There'd be different feelings about it. Because the Browns have failed to have a starting quarterback, a franchise quarterback for so long, I think everything that pops up, we're going to add a little extra scrutiny.
And because of the mistake that they made with the Deshaun Watson thing, and now they're sitting there with a 40-year-old quarterback going into a season in which they've got 2 first-round picks at the end of the year. The single best thing that could possibly happen there is for either Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders to emerge and to become a legitimate player for them going forward. That would be the best-case scenario. And I guess just sitting at the distance at which I sit, it doesn't feel as though they're going about it that way.
There are 19 more games counting preseason and regular season. So at some point, this story will shift to Dominique's initial point. Most teams don't get through the season with just one quarterback.
That's right.
Right now, the 40-year-old's the only one who's healthy.
Right.
So I think that's, by default, he probably starts the season.
There have just been very few. Yeah, go ahead. Last word, Marcus, go.
Yeah. Let me say this. Neek and Graz knows this as well. At some point, the player is going to tell you who the quarterback is too. Like it becomes that in the NFL, and these guys gonna have confidence in one of these 3 guys behind Joe Flacco more so than the other, and that's gonna determine a lot as well.
And answer the quarterback question Dominique Foxworth. Here we go. Caleb Williams going to get the start for the Bears on Sunday night against Buffalo. If he struggles, will you freak out?
I will absolutely freak out. I will tell other people, don't freak out. No big deal. It's just a preseason. But I'm going to freak out because he had a rough start last year. And, again, this is the preseason. And the most important thing for Caleb Williams, I think, is to play within structure, do things on time. Preseason, you're not going to see a bunch of complicated game plans. Like, you might see some, like, fire zones is the hardest thing you'll see. If he struggles, now, like, if he doesn't lead him on a scoring drive, that's fine. But if he struggles at this point, I'd be a little concerned.
Marcus.
Man, Caleb Williams has to play on time with rhythm. And whatever Ben Johnson has in this plan, it needs to be executed at a very high level. This man had 432 dropbacks last year for a rookie. That's going to get anybody in a terrible situation. And it was a tumultuous situation with his offense. We asked on this show about what the hell is Chicago's offensive identity. They made a change at offensive coordinator. We saw him play a little bit better after that during the season. But this is the important part for Caleb Williams. The Chicago Bears committed to Ben Johnson being their head coach. We know what Ben Johnson comes with based on what he did in Detroit. Now he needs to show, to Nick's point, competency, and there needs to be a rhythm and a timing to this offense in order for everybody to kind of relax and see that there's progress being made.
Yeah, progress is the key. And look, they're in a developmental timeline with Caleb Williams. To put that on television is a little bit risky because it might not look great. But it also might be where they need him to be at this point. So I think, at this point, it's very important not to overreact to preseason games. It always is. This might be one of the prime examples of that. Last year in the preseason, remember the crazy stuff he was doing that was so exciting. That was a lot of fun. But that's not what they want him to do, right? Like he needs to run the offense. So
what they want,
I think the best outcome is if it's boring.
Here's the only thing I will say. I get it. You're right. He's in a developmental process. And, yes, they did hinder him last year. He's actually starting from behind zero with all of the nonsense that they dealt with last year. That said, we don't live in that world for rookie quarterbacks anymore.
Yeah.
We live in a world where C.J. Stroud and Jaden Daniels and even Drake May in New England last year, under terrible circumstances, and others step in and look ready to play the position immediately. And so the fact that we're talking about let's be patient with Caleb in year 2 is a different kind of story.
It's just important to remember how much less college football he played than Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix. And those kinds of comparisons are not going to hold up. So, and again, a lost year seems like developmentally last year as a rookie.
It's important to know that, but it don't matter. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I would love to live I would love to live in that world with you where we all can take into account all the context around the situation. But we don't, and we're not going to. And that team is so obviously built to take advantage of his rookie contract right now. And in the first 3 to 4 years before they sign an extension. So I'm with you. But at some point, he's going to have to accelerate this maturation as a quarterback.
Agreed. But I don't think that point is this coming Sunday.
Well, it better be because I'm a freak out. Freaking out.
But Marcus, does it need to be? Go ahead, Marcus.
We've seen this organization flunk all the tests with their quarterbacks up until this point. And this is one situation where now you understand the shift that's happening. We take the onus off of the franchise. Poles has done a good job, brought Ben Johnson in. This is all about Caleb, and that's why people have this reaction. When it was Mitch Trubisky, when it was Justin Fields, we were like, this is a horrible organization. This is terrible. They don't know what direction they're going, none of that. So now it is a completely different situation for Caleb Williams. I understand the type of pressure. I understand the reaction to Caleb Williams, and if he doesn't play well, because of what structurally has happened in this organization. But ultimately, the dude is about to play like his 18th game in the NFL
right
when they start this season for real. So somebody got to say, let's give him a little bit of time.
His opposite number in that game, which will be our first Monday night game of the season at Soldier Field, will be J.J. McCarthy. Let's talk about him. Sam Darnold won 14 games and threw 35 touchdowns last year in Minnesota. My next question for you, Dominique Foxworth, is will J.J. McCarthy, who is essentially a rookie, but he was there all of last year, will he be better than Darnold was?
I mean, I'd say not in the first year. Like, it is, like you mentioned, he's another guy who didn't have a bunch of college throws. Like, he's a guy who I think the expectations are going to be high for, but still needs to develop. And what Sam Darnold did last year was incredible. Like, he had a great season. So this team can be good without him being as productive as Sam Darnold, as long as the defense is as impactful as they were last year.
We had the trivia question a few weeks ago. The only team in the last 3 years that's thrown at least 30 touchdown passes in each of the last 3 seasons was the Vikings. And that's with a lot of different quarterbacks.
Ooh.
Like I have a lot of faith in, Kevin O'Connell, Josh McCown, like that Vikings quarterback, room.
I hear you.
To get him where he needs to be.
What it is not translated to is postseason success. And
well, right.
But the reality is they need to get there. The Bears are in a different situation. They have not been good for quite some time, Marcus. The Vikings are a team that I think there are players in that room who should be feeling like we're a Super Bowl team. We have a chance to be a Super Bowl team, and it may be completely unfair to the quarterback to say you need to play to that level, but I think that is the situation he walks into.
Gee, it ain't no maybe. It's completely unfair to J.J. McCarthy to say play to that level and get us to the Super Bowl. But ultimately, we've seen what this team has put on the field. We have a crazy confidence in Kevin O'Connell and what he's been able to do. Resurrected Sam Darnold career, got him paid. J.J. McCarthy is up. This is the quarterback that they drafted, that they saw something in that they could move forward with this organization and franchise. And speaking of heat, right, what if this kid struggles? What if this kid comes out and this offense doesn't look as good? What if he can't get Justin Jefferson the ball and involved as much as the former guys have? Do we say he's on the hot seat as well? Like, this is the issue when it becomes like this day and age in the NFL. It's a team around him. We got to make sure that J.J. McCarthy looks like C.J. Stroud or Jaden Daniels in his first real year of starting. And I just can't put that type of pressure on them because this league is hard. And them defenses got some grown-ass men over there that's trying to get after you.